So in this video, I want to talk about a concept that I know some people struggle with, and I know even more people avoid altogether. And that is the subject of God, and where does God fit into this grief that we are going through? And there's often a lot of tension about, why did God let this happen? How can God let this happen? And then how can I pray afterwards, and is praying useful? So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk specifically about prayer, and I want to talk about it from the perspective of how useful I think prayer is coming from someone that doesn't believe in God. So this is useful for if you do believe and if you don't. So please, whilst you're here, click on the little red subscribe button, which is below me, as that lets me know that people actually like these videos, and then click on the little bell icon and you'll be reminded when new videos go live. So, do I think prayer is useful? And this whole video is my opinion, and everyone is absolutely entitled to their own opinion. So is prayer useful? I find yes, prayer is incredibly useful, to the point where I would say it is absolutely vital. At the same time as I think prayer can be very disabling for us if we use it in the wrong way. And this is my interpretation of it. So let's go with the useful first. I find prayer very useful because there are emotions and there are feelings within us. And very often those emotions and those feelings come about because of an external stimuli. So, example, grief or death obviously stimulates internal emotions and turmoil. And then sometimes after the event, there will be triggers for us. So there might be a trigger of a birthday, of an anniversary. Someone might say something. There can be all manner of triggers. And sometimes we want to make those anniversaries go away. We want to make those birthdays go away. We want to make those people stop saying things or stop these triggers happening. I want to stop. I want it all to stop. And this is where I think prayer can be very useful, because those triggers and those things that happen are within me. And in this world, there is me and there is not me. And for me, there is something bigger in this world and in this life than me. There is this beautiful world around us, this beautiful nature around us. And even within my own head, there are things that I don't understand. My body seems to be able to respond to, like if I point at the camera very quickly, we go, ah, or if a door slams towards me, we go, ah. There's something in me, there's my unconscious mind, which is able to respond and react far quicker than my conscious mind can. And that's not me as well. I've got the me, the conscious me, and the not me. This beautiful world around us is the not me. I've got my conscious mind and I've got my unconscious mind. My unconscious mind is part of this not me. And I find it very useful with prayer to hand over all of these triggers to not me, to not my conscious mind, to hand them over to this world around and just say, do you know what? Beautiful nature, you're amazing what you can do out there. I'm going to hand over this problem to you. I can do nothing more myself. I'm going to hand it over. Or I might even say, do you know what, unconscious mind? You're not the conscious me, but you're the unconscious version. I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm just going to let you sort it out. I'm not going to consciously do anything at all. I'm just going to hand everything over to you. And that handing over, that letting go of all of these triggers, letting go of our emotions, to hand it over to something bigger than us, to the world around us, perhaps to our unconscious mind, is incredibly powerful and incredibly useful, because it means that no longer do we have to worry about it ourselves. I don't have to be thinking about it in my conscious mind. I can just say, do you know what? I've handed it over. My unconscious mind can deal with that. Or this beautiful world around us can deal with that. And that's where I find prayer really useful. And for me, and I reiterate, this is my opinion, prayer is not so useful when I hand it over to something or someone else and say, fix it for me. And I put requests into that handing over. So it's a handing over to say I can do nothing more myself. And please fix it for me. Make this happen. Do this. And I think when we do that, we're actually abdicating some of the control of how we feel to something else. And for me, it's about maintaining 100% responsibility for what goes on in my head, 100% responsibility for the way I act and respond. And I hand over those things to say there's nothing I can do about those things, they're going to happen. And if they do happen, and if things do happen, I am going to take 100% responsibility for it. Because when I take 100% responsibility, that's when I can make changes. I'm not relying on something else to make changes for me. I will make the changes. I am in control. I control what goes on in my head. And therefore, I can be infinitely flexible in my approach, not waiting for something else, not waiting for someone else. I take responsibility and I take control. And for me, that's where I find complete peace.